They have released the dog. I'm Lil Rick the gamer, do it 100% gamer, bro. If no one else working hard, I would do it for the damage. Can't contain my flow. I need to play a game for sure. Maybe RTS, RPG, or maybe even MMO.
Howdy, and welcome back to another video for Dragon Sky Idle and Merge. Now I need you to hit those like and subscribe buttons as I post content daily. Alright, so in today's video, we're going to talk about a little bit about, progression and getting through that early points in the game, getting over stage 1000 and all of what I've done to reach these points in the game in this first week of playing. So we're going to start off by talking about our dragons and the dragons that we were utilizing and how we were progressing them and how we kind of like fine-tuned and found out like what works, what wasn't working, and so forth and so on. So the first thing is, if you don't pull an epic or a legendary, I hands down recommend you get Tarot. This little green sucker that I'm shaking on the screen right now. Reason is it has a beam type of attack, and we're going to go into our dragons here so we can look at Tarot. It has a beam type of attack. It says main attack fires a quick enemy chasing laser. The laser focuses on one target. It can take longer to attack multiple enemies. It evolves, the laser becomes thicker. We got a pretty thick laser right now. So yeah, it's not the best at taking down multiple enemies at a time, but it can focus one enemy down until it's done. So it's going to be good for boss fights. Not exactly the best for stages, but it's really strong because the other dragons that you get of the normal rarity aren't really all that great when it comes to like AoE damage, at least so far from what I've seen. Like the ones that comes up commonly, they really don't have the best AoEs, which that's where your epics and your legendaries will come in for that. So this is why I recommend Tarot as a good starting one to focus on, and leveling up to possibly to 300 to 500 at the beginning, and your overall team, you're probably going to level to about 100 or so. 100, maybe less. Yeah, I think the ones that I start off using, yeah, they're like just over 100, but I don't use any of these things anymore. And yeah, probably 100 at best for your team. Also keep in mind it takes your tier 10 dragons to make make an elite. So you're going to start off first by making your first 6 elites. Doesn't matter what they are. Hopefully you pull a Tarot, and then you're going to focus on leveling them to about 100. Then after that, we're going to go back to our dragons and go to our normals. Don't level up any of these things, but for your tier 10, I would say take it to about 200. Yeah, 200. Maybe 100, but at the most, I would say 200 to the level to start off. And save your tier 10s. Save your tier 10s after you make your first 6. Then, like, once you start, your screen start filling up and it's starting to get less space, then fuse maybe 2, maybe 4 at the most, because they're going to be most of your damage starting off until you're able to pull yourself an epic or a legendary that has a AoE, like a Delon Enderman, like I have here. This is my epic AoE damage dealer, which is really strong, and one of the ones that I'm really hard focusing for the team. You can see like the power difference in between everything, but it is an epic, so eventually you'll be able to get one, but it's not exactly something that you expect to get early on. Like my first legendary here, who's also strong laser type that focus one enemy at a time. But which you can see currently in the battle. They're both in here. Here's the Edermon here. You can see the little flame AoE, which is really good. And then the legendary one that I have that has this laser that follows the enemies. So that kind of thing. So you're gonna want to focus on those those units first. So it's those units first once you're building up. So as you start pulling more and start fine tuning your team and figuring out what you're going to be doing, there's going to be some things that you're going to want to level up and progress as you level up and progress. So we're going to go to our upgrades here and go to our lab, I believe. Yeah, our lab. Now, if you're spending money, then okay, you could invest into some of this in here with your gems. Actually, even if you're not spending money, because you're going to get plenty of gems, it's just going to take a while to get there. But I do recommend maxing out the increased number of dragons on the screen. So you want to max this out. Definitely max that out for sure. For sure. And then I think it was a couple other things I put levels in. The increase max egg capacity. Like you can even take this higher than what I have it right now. This is going to be a good one to invest in. Tier 2 hatch. I need to level this up more too, even with gems. This is a good one to invest into. Not putting all of your eggs in the one basket because you're going to be needing your gems for other things, but just things to keep in mind. And you can see on our normal one for our obsidian, I think this is what this called, we have it maxed here. We have some levels into a few things, but we definitely want to make sure we can get tier 2s. I think it's like tier 2 hatching and the auto hatching, putting stuff into that, auto fusion. So that's going to help you out a lot, especially when you run the auto function in the game, which is going to help you get more dragons faster to help you build more tier 10 dragons faster as well. So your research is going to be important to work into. So now let's move into team building, and I'm going to show you kind of like a starter progression that I kind of did. We're probably going to lose and die here, but it doesn't matter. This is for you guys, for I to understand, like kind of what I was doing when I first started off. We like the team building and then the team formation. So we're gonna go back. I guess we can leave Tarot in. One of the first set of teams that I had was actually even before them. I think this was like my first team, I believe. Yeah, this was like my first team, or one of my first teams, not completely my first team. So, oops, yeah, save. So it wasn't quite the best team. It's probably going to get wrecked here, but I had my team set up kind of something. I don't even think I had this unit in my team, but I had them kind of set up. Yeah, this one, yeah, I had him set up something like, I think I had him in the front because he was like my tank. And then I had one over here and one over there. Yeah, I think like something like this, which is okay. It's pretty standard for what they're doing, but wasn't the best. So we're gonna change it up again. We just take you out and we put Tarot back in. So as I was progressing, I started getting better. I think I had Tarot right behind Bornhorn, so it could like cover most of the map. That was kind of the thing I did. And then yeah, I had the regular Endermon right behind him as well, because since his attack is single target, it's not going to really hit much of everything, and positioning is going to be really important. So I put it in the middle, so especially when the boss fights come up, it's going to be able to put out some damage on the bosses, making sure they get hit. And most things cross the middle, so he generally is going to be able to hit something. Then I had something to cover the sides on both ends, something for that matter. But a lot of them really don't have Like this one, he has it's a tracking. It tracks the enemy and everything, but it's really not that great. Like that's why I didn't put a lot of investment in them. Like if we'll wait till the screen come back again, and then like if you look at the attacks, this one put like little stickies that can explode and do like AOE damage, which is kind of cool. I used this one for a minute. I might go back and invest into them again. I'm not quite sure because we are pulling like epics and everything. And then this one right here, yeah, it has another tracking. And like I was just playing around with different ways to set up my formations just so I can get the most out of it. My team, I think, let's say when we moved on and started better units, or just some of the ones that I was like mostly focused in on, I think this was my team for a bit right here. And I still had similar formation. I think I had this one right here, and I put this one like way down here. And the reason I did that is because of the spread. Like the further it goes out, the more it spreads, so it's going to be able to cover more area because it's spread and gets larger and larger as it goes. So I had a formation kind of like this, and I think that's when I first started putting Tarot over here because I was just leveling up Tarot, and my team comp and my formation was like this, so I can cover as much area as possible. Bonehorn was the tank, even though Bonehorn didn't do much tanking. I'm kind of at odds about tanking in this game because you pretty much want to focus on your DPS. So even if you have something tanking, your DPS is still going to be a better tank than your actual tank for the most part until you actually full focus into a tank, which I think can be good, but I don't recommend early on. You really want to focus on one unit mostly for damage and kind of slowly build up your team as you progress until you get better units, so to speak, better dragons for your team. So this was like the main thing until I start pulling epics and legendaries, because I wasn't pulling any for a while. Like a lot of people that are in the community and in the guild that you can talk to in our Discord. Link to that is in the description box below, as well as the pinned comment below. Come hang out and check out those people and talk to us and pick our brains a bit. So that was kind of a thing as well. So now I got my more recent team, even though I did have a few other team changes in between there, but we still got the most recent team and the ones we've been utilizing now. And I've been changing and moving around this formation as well too. Oops, save. Why didn't say the first time? So I've been changing and moving around this formation. Now we using this version of Rhinish as our tank, putting them up here at the top of the screen, pretty high up. I think, yeah, Taro's fine right there. Then we have this guy here, which, if you could see, it has a really fast projectile that can like decimate bosses or anything that's like in a straight line. But just like the regular Enderman, since it's only can like really focus on one specific area in a straight line, is good for like bosses. Well, I wouldn't exactly say PvP, but it's good for like bosses and everything. So positioning is really important for them. So I kind of put them back here, just all the way at the back, just so it can be out of sight and not take much damage. And then it also has that a bit of a tracking skill as well. You can see the little balls shoot out of them and track the enemy. They're not reliable, so that's not where most of the damage is going to come from. Then we do have our Mah-Lon Enderman that we've been utilizing, who has the AoE. We put in the middle because it gives us the most coverage of the space. And then I think my formation was kind of like this. I didn't have them. The little blue one that I had all the way back down here that was like doing the things. That's kind of how this formation was for a while. But I ended up changing it once I got him in. Once I got him in the laser, I put him over here so you can just have coverage on this side. And then I moved my poisoner, because this is what this thing is, this green mist. It's poison, so it's a lingering damage. Not going to really be able to see too much of it. All right, there you go. Now we're seeing some of the damage. I moved them from there, and then I put them in the middle to protect them better. I think I had them somewhere in this location. So this is kind of like my formation. So my tank doesn't do the best tanking because it's not completely built up, and I'm kind of farming to work on some of them to get them better at the job, because I think I'm at that point now where I can start working on fine tuning this team until I pull better dragons to be able to replace what I have. So I'm just going to keep building up this team. I don't really think I have to worry too much about damage. I can go in more onto damage, but I think if I just work on my tanking a little bit better, then we'll be good. But even though my main damage dealer is pretty much my tankiest unit, it survives the most, and it's really what protects these two from being killed off, even though this one dies still a little bit because it was been underpowered. So we're working towards that, and that's a little bit about how the formation goes, my team progress, and the leveling and everything. Now you can kind of take a little grasp at the levels that I have. Like my DPS here, we have 4 in this team. 1, 2, 3, 4 main DPS, and you can kind of see this is the one that shoots the straight line. Our tracker, our AOE, and then our second tracker with the laser that we just got, the legendary, that we're kind of working towards building up. We do have a few of them 5-star. This is our poisoner, just to get that extra lingering damage, which is helpful for when we're in those later stages and they don't die as fast. So just having that extra lingering damage is good and beneficial. Then we have our tank, who is under leveled compared to everything else that we need to work on putting levels into, but we have to grind up, get ourselves some gold. That's what we're saving up our gems for, so we could go into the shop here, go to our recharge, and buy these. I've done this once to level up my Edelin Enderman, and we're going to do this to get our tank up, so our tank actually does a good job there. I almost forgot. We do got some shinies here. Let's see if we can get us a legendary or something new. Maybe a dupe legendary. That would be good for 5-star. Ooh, snap! What's happening? What is this? What is this? I got Illithing! Oh my god, I got Elephant. Good unit. If you have that OP, build it. Put all of your resources into them. All of them. Okay, another Edelin Endermon. That can be useful for 6-star and later. It's a rat! We win the game! We'll probably talk about some more stuff in a later video, but I hope you guys have enjoyed and maybe learned something new. And if you did, make sure you smash that like button. If you didn't, there is a button for you guys as well. Link to our Discord where we talk about this game and other games we play will be in the description box below, as well as the pinned comment below. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Turn those post notifications on so you can see my content first when it goes live, people. And this is your host, GamerDude2088, and I will see you next time. And I'm out. Deuces.